As you probably that's on mute. Okay. Γιώργο, είμαστε έτοιμοι? Nice. Okay. Am I muted? Huh? Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for joining today's pilot delivered by Palantir. It's about a complex cybersecurity attack with the ultimate target to get ransomware access on private data. And in order to bring the audience to the same level, let's say, and make some introduction regarding the Palantir project, the objectives of today's pilot, before starting the actual attack scenario and demonstration of Palantir capabilities. Okay, so the Palantir pilot objective is to present a comprehensive cybersecurity framework designed to safeguard the health environment. We will get into the critical issue of ransomware attack and explore the significant impact on the health ecosystem and highlight potential strategies to mitigate the risk associated with these malicious attacks. As we all know, the cost of cyber attacks are enormous and keep rising, especially for not only for large organizations who have the assets and the means to support their cybersecurity protection, but also for small SMEs or micro enterprises or even individual practitioners who at the moment they can fall victims of cyber attacks and potentially ransomware attacks, which target the very private and specific to their occupation data, and that can disturb their businesses, cause big profit loss in order to alleviate and get access again to the data that they have been held for ransom. And as you can see, that the cost of the data breach rose beyond 7.5 million in the last years, and almost 47% of SMEs had experienced at least one cyber attack in a single year. So Palantir comes in order to bring solutions that will enable small SMEs to respond to these threats and be able to safeguard their occupation and the hazards of the data leakage. So the Palantir is actually provides a portal, and this portal is given to every customer of the Palantir project in order for to be able to control and monitor the security status of their establishment, their premises, and particularly for the health professional. We speak about the medical office, the assets that are running within that office, that may be equipment, medical equipment, databases holding private data, their own, let's say, PCs that are used for providing recipes for drugs or for any other interaction with its customers. The Palantir project also provides a risk-based analysis, so it gives the opportunity for SMEs through a very concise questionnaire to be able to get an assessment of the risk entailed for their business and their assets, and be able to design a solution, a security solution for their businesses. In addition, there is the Palantir project offers a security as a service deployment model. so that whenever, depending on the actual threats that are entailed for the business, the assets that need to be protected, and the way of deployment, specific security capabilities can be, let's say, can be made available and be deployed in the either on premises or at the cloud in order to provide the ever needed protection. And beyond that, although not directly affecting the actual medical practitioner, but affecting all the customers of the Palantir, there is a threat intelligence and threat sharing environment that allows sharing of threats and preactive, let's say, protection in cases the detection refers to single-day, zero-day attacks. So in order now to bring to more closer to the pilot, we need to discuss a little bit about the ransomware attack in order to help you understand what are we targeting at and what are the big problems that we probably need to solve. So when we say ransomware attack, we have to say about the case where malicious actors, either remote or in the network, or somehow they have gained access, unauthorized access to computer systems of the medical practitioner, and they are able to encrypt sensitive data, and those sensitive data are held hostage until the practitioner or the attacked, let's say, person is willing to pay some ransom in order to get back the data. Okay, this is a very common attack happening right now, and with increasing numbers. Specifically for healthcare organizations, due to the high value and the sensitivity of patient data, the criticality of health services, and the potential financial incentives, this is a very increasingly targeted attack for this environment. So how this ransomware attack impacts the health environment? First of all, we have the issue of the patient safety, since they can disrupt critical health services, this type of attacks, as they make data unavailable. We have encrypted electronic health records that cannot be accessed anymore, either from the practitioners or from other devices that need to look up these records in order to make decisions or provide diagnostics. We have data breach, where the healthcare facilities that hold vast amounts of personal and medical information, they are very much targets for data breaches, so the data can be retrieved and then used from the attackers in other means, either to sell them as a profitable, let's say, data that can be used for targeted advertisement or other let's say, cases. We have financial losses. The impact on organizations that are affected by ransomware attacks may have significant financial losses due to the ransom. And most of the cases, it's not, let's say, that easy to leave your data encrypted and move on. So usually you have to gain the data back, and that is actually has created a lot of bankruptcies, especially for small SMEs that cannot keep up with the amount of financial, let's say, cost entailed. And finally, it's the loss of trust, as the patients in most of the cases cannot really understand what's going on with the data. They fail to trust the healthcare providers and their ability to hold this data private and ensure the confidentiality and integrity and the availability of their services. So we can see that there are a number of impacts that are entailed from the ransomware attacks, and that makes them a prime, let's say, target for Palantir to be able to provide solution. So what are the, let's say, why the health environment is considered as vulnerable? First of all, there are a lot of legacy systems. Many healthcare institutions have outdated software or infrastructure. Usually the devices that are operate within this environment are not, let's say, are not designed with security in mind. Okay, they assume security is already provided. So there are things that are making easy the attack to be manifested. Of course, there is a human factor. as we cannot be, let's say, all experts in all fields. So it's the same with the health environment. The practitioners have a lack of cybersecurity awareness and training, so it's far difficult for them to be able to respond timely on any detected attack or in general to protect their own let's say operations. And finally, there are third-party risks. We have third-party vendors for various services. They have different standards, different way of working, and that creates some gaps in the security that can be, let's say, exploited by the attackers. So the PALANTIR offering offers a security as a service that is leveraged to detect ransomware activity using flow-level features and isolate and remediate the attack. So in essence, the PALANTIR framework provides SMEs and micro enterprises with practical framework to assess and manage cybersecurity risk and define their cybersecurity needs, provide affordable managed security services in multiple delivery modes, so it can be realized either on premises or in the cloud, or a hybrid case of on-premises and cloud deployment. And of course, it provides a novel and hybrid incident detection with live threat intelligence sharing. In this pilot, we will follow the PALANTIR in a box deployment. So in order to simplify the deployment in the inexperienced medical practitioner office, the PALANTIR follows the model of similar model to the operators, the telecom operators use. So it ships a box called PALANTIR box. It's this box over here, okay, that is used is installed in the practitioner's office, even from the doctor himself, following the guidelines provided by PALANTIR. And that box is creating, let's say, it's able to instantiate all the security capabilities that are available in the PALANTIR library in order to provide suitable cybersecurity defense measures in the doctor's office. Okay, we use this box is actually using a lightweight deployment, so it's not a very expensive equipment, and the capabilities are scaled to the let's say needs of the doctor. Possibly, if the professional has bigger, let's say, requirements from the hardware, it can be scaled up, or it can introduce multiplicity of these boxes. And the scenario that we will let's say observe today has this very simple deployment. So you get the actual gateway that connects the doctor's office with the internet, and also there is a connection with the PALANTIR platform, since the monitoring and stuff like that can also be used by be logged remotely. And within the doctor's office, we assume that there is an OpenMRS server that is holding the health data from the patients. We have the practitioner's PC, of course, the Wi-Fi access that provides access not only to the doctor and the devices here, but also to people visiting the doctor, the patients in the lobby. Okay, and this is the environment that the ransomware attack will be manifested and will be used for the demo. So in the outline of the pilot is that we need to initially we will demonstrate the attack, the ransomware attack, what will happen if there is no protection, there is no PALANTIR, and you observe, and the practitioner is under the attack of a ransomware attack. We will target the OpenMRS server, which is a library holding patients' data, as we said, and the attacker will manage to gain access and encrypt the database of the contents of this service, making OpenMRS operation impossible from the doctor side. And then we initiate PALANTIR baseline service on a PALANTIR in a box delivery mode. We'll try to enact the attack one more time and demonstrate how the PALANTIR can detect and remediate this attack. the attack is not in a single shot. So it's a multi-stage ransomware attack. It has various stages that start from the making the attacker a man in the middle, so that it can stand between the practitioner and the data flow and be able to capture this data flow. It will use login account hacking in order to get access to the remote database, use various exploits that will give him remote code execution, and of course then be able to use privilege escalation in order to retrieve database credentials and be able to encrypt the database. So this is a multi-stage attack. During all these steps, there is a clear flow of data from the attacker towards the assets that are being attacked, and Palantir will operate on those flows in order, and also on the end systems, in order to be able to understand what's going on and either alert or mitigate, or do this both in tandem in order to protect the practitioner. Okay, so now what will follow is the pilot demonstration. It would be a good point if you have a question in particular that probably you need me to explain any aspect in more depth, to do it right now before we skip to the pilot demonstration. Okay, I guess we are good to go. So my colleagues here, Dimitris Dorineos and Andreas Konomakis, will lead the demo session.
Hey, George, just want to share my screen. So are we going first with the spoken or with the ransomware?
The ransomware video of the
Okay.
ransomware,
Okay,
where we saw the impact of the attack.
without leveraging the...
Yes.
Okay, so we start with the video of the attack without Palantir intervention at no point. Okay.
So first we see how a normal how the normal users of the OpenMRS server is without any attack happening. We can see that it retrieves the patient's data correctly. Now back on the attacker, we can by using the Metasploit framework and exploiting the CVs that George mentioned before. He discovers the first vulnerability, which is the Tomcat manager credentials. Now, by using these credentials, he gets admin rights on the Tomcat server. And yes, they're highlighted there. And next, by using another CV, he tries to create a reverse shell by uploading a malicious Tomcat work package, as we can see here. Yes, and the next step is for the attacker to gain access by creating a reverse shell. Right. So now he has the shell, but the permissions for the shell that he got are for the use of Tomcat, which is very restrictive with regards to accessing the database. So by using another CV, he gains root privileges, as we can see in the video. And now that he has root privileges, he can also retrieve the username and the password for the database server. And by having these credentials, he can both retrieve the patient's data and encrypt them, and by using the ransomware attack, and ask for ransoms. Yes.
Okay, if I may say here a couple of words just to explain a little bit more to the people that are not very familiar with this. This is just to demonstrate also how simple this attack is. I mean, when somebody has infiltrated your network, okay, it's very easy for him to detect where are the assets, find out which kind of versions of software you are using, and based on the knowledge that is already available on the internet, download the needed tools in order to get access to the system. After he gets access to the system, all these are pretty much blind to the practitioner. Somebody could have access to your database without you even knowing it, and at the end encrypt the data, and that by then it will be very, very late to do anything or to save your data. Okay.
So yes, here in the video we can see how he actually retrieved the patient data. It has a couple of minutes more to go. I don't know if it's of interest. I can skip it. And
at the end of this video, and we are trying to skip because we don't want to avoid the technical details, and parts of it will be also available on the next sequence. Okay, but at the end of this video, the actual doctor is not able anymore to use the service of and access the health data. They are totally encrypted, cannot access the patient's name, nothing. Okay.
right,
You can skip to the end, probably that the database is not available anymore due to the encryption. Here.
yeah. So here we can see, yes, that by visiting the same URL, the OpenMRS server responds with an HTTP status. Anyway, internal server error. So now should we demonstrate the live? Because it's going to shut down the server.
Okay. We might demonstrate the other attack, the man in the middle attack.
Okay, the ERP spoofing.
Yes, which is one of the simplest to perform.
Okay.
Okay, so in this attack, okay, even without the ransomware part, the PC of the attacker will become a hub of all the data communications across the office of the medical doctor. So all the data will essentially go through, okay, or not all the data, or the selected data will go through the attacker's PC, so he can just capture the data, or he can use information that he will gather in order to manifest the next part of the attack. Okay.
Yes, in this video now we are seeing that the doctor is visiting again the OpenMRS server without any attack happening, and yes, of course, he's able to retrieve anything from the patients. Now, in the right part of the screen, we can see the attacker, where he's trying to create a phishing page and fool the doctor to visit this page instead of the original. And when the doctor will try to complete his credentials, his username and password, the attacker will retrieve them and forward him to the original page, so he can continue his work without noticing that it was being hijacked.
Okay, so the first part would be to get the credentials for the database using phishing attack. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, we must say that the attacker has recreated has copied the login page of OpenMRS. So this is what he serves then after attempting the ERP spoofing. So the practitioner is redirected to the malicious version of the login page, which is served to a local server of the attacker's PC. So the credentials, when the doctor is prompt to insert them, are
now displayed in the right part of the screen.
With the Fisher, which is a well-known open source tool, anyone can download it and use this to steal the credentials.
Okay, so at the end of this attack, someone that has no access to whatever credentials is able to mimic
clone a site, yes.
Clone a local site to his PC and lure the practitioner into entering login and password on some vital services that he uses. So after this attack, the attacker has already gained login and password probably to one or more of the private services for the doctor. Okay.
Okay. So now for the live demonstration, we will run the attack, and here we have the Palantir dashboard that will get the attack and notify the user that he's been under attack.
Okay, so the alert is not immediate. It takes some time to actually identify the attack, but at the point where the alert is arriving at the dashboard, okay, that message can also be, let's say, redirected to the doctor's mobile phone or whatever. Here we just demonstrate that it will happen on the dashboard. Okay, so the doctor will get an alert that something happened on his network. And probably this is the human in the loop. The system will not respond automatically, but alert the doctor in order to make some maybe reboot the network, shut down the Wi-Fi, things like that, in order to also demonstrate that not everything has to be automated, but some of the alerting can be, let's say, informative. Okay.
Maybe.
Spoofing. I see.
This is an old notification.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Ah.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the doctor, of course, gets this report in a more, let's say, simple manner, not having to go through the report. But here we can see from the dashboard that there is an incident identified as app spoofing. Okay, the doctor is alerted, and some additional means can be, let's say, can be run from the doctor's side. The system itself could be tuned in order to auto respond to this type of attacks, can shut down servers or do some mitigation actions in an automatic way. But since we have the second phase of the pilot, that will be the automatic response. Okay, we chose to just show you that you can get alerting of whatever is going on in order for you to be able to get alerts and act upon those alerts in order to alleviate the attacks. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, George. Now, should we move to the next one?
Now we can do the next one. Yeah.
Yes.
On this part of the demo, it is expected that Palantir will auto-respond and automatically mitigate the attack. Okay, so go ahead, Regis.
So for saving you some time, not demonstrating the same things that we showed before, with all the steps of the attack, we have just skipped these steps and the
reversal and the privilege escalation. So
yes. We suppose that the attacker has already gained the root access to the OpenMRS server, and he's about to run the ransomware. So let's go first back to the Palantir dashboard and see what will happen there. And then we will check the OpenMRS server that it must, yes, so we got the alerts there that that the ransomware attack took place. Yes, and it's there on the syslog.
Okay.
And the OpenMRS server should have shut down now in order to preserve the database from being encrypted.
So the automated reaction to the identified attack. So somebody is trying to encrypt your database. So the system detects that, and upon detection, it directs a remedial action to take place. So that remedial action shuts down the server in order for the attacker not to have any more access. And at the same time, you are alerted on the attempt to encrypt your database. Okay, so on both those attacks, the assumption is that somebody is already in your offices, in your premises, and has access to your Wi-Fi and is acting on this. It can be someone in the lobby with some PC, or it can be around the place if your Wi-Fi, let's say, coverage is extended to outside, and it can do the similar things to your attack. So this is how attacks of this type can be manifested for simple doctors and for small practitioners. And up to now, in general, there are no directed, specifically tailored solutions for these environments. Okay, and PALANTIR tries to fill in this gap. So I guess we finished with the demonstrations. So I can take the screen now.
Yeah, just a last point that yes, as you can see, the page of the OpenMRS server doesn't respond. It's stuck in a loop, which is trying to get to the server. That's all. Now I can stop sharing.
Okay, I don't know if you had any particular question regarding the demo part. Okay, if you do so, please, now it's the right time to make this type of questions. There will be a Q&A at the end, but if you need something particular that we might need to run back to the screens of the demos, please do not hesitate. Okay, so if there are no more questions, I will go back to my final slides. Okay, since as we are done right now with the pilot demonstration, I would ask kindly from you to either scan the QR code on your right side of the screen or use the shortcut that I have there for the questionnaire. It would be great from your side to be able to provide some feedback and answer the questionnaire. It's a very simple and very short questionnaire. It will not take much time. You can do that after we finish the demo as well. Okay, but it will help us analyze the feedback and try to even make better the presentation or get some views on expected features that you might have considered or cases that make sense. And finally, I would like to thank you all and the PALANTIR Consortium also for attending today's pilot. Okay, what follows is the Q&A section. If there is any question from your side, you can type it, or you can open your microphone and speak, and you can find more information and additional deliverables, documentation, and events on the PALANTIR side on your right screen. Okay, thank you very much. So I don't know if the stage is open. If there is any question on your side, any comment, we'll be glad to address them. Okay. Okay, so then since we have no, I saw some written feedback, and thank you very much for your kind words. It's in Greek, so I'm able to read them, but not the others. But anyway, thank you very much, and we are at your disposal. Contact is on the site if you want some follow-up on these ideas or some additional details regarding our implementations. Thank you very much for attending the pilot and for your time, your precious time, especially those of you that you are medical practitioners and not developers from this consortium. And thank you very much.